Good afternoon, dear students. Now we are going to continue where we left in the last class. That is production of ethanol from Saccharomyces from molasses using the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Okay, so let us. I'll brief in shortly. I'll brief what we discussed yesterday. That we discussed that the yeast most commonly used for ethanol production is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces yeast is of two types, top fermenter yeast and bottom fermenter yeast. That is Saccharomyces cerevisiae is top fermenting yeast and Saccharomyces carlsbergensis is bottom fermenting yeast. But they differ in their morphological characteristics. Okay. Now the yeast is inoculated, or the inoculum buildup of the desired yeast is done first, and then it is inoculated into the raw material or fermentation media. What are the raw materials that are used generally? They are carbohydrate materials which contain sugar. Okay, carbohydrate materials most commonly used for ethanol production are molasses, the most widely used raw material, which is the waste product of sugar industry. So we use molasses, we can use whey, sulfite waste liquor or other such carbohydrate materials. Alright, now the molasses is to be diluted first because it may contain a huge amount of sugar, like say it may contain 48 to 50% of sugar. And what is the amount of sugar or carbon that is required by the organism? It is around 12%. Okay, so we have to dilute the molasses. After dilution, it is to be inoculated with the yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and the fermentation is allowed to proceed. The time, the temperature, the pH, which are important factors, the nitrogen content, which are all important factors, are carefully controlled, and by the end of say 72 hours the fermentation is over and we have to recover ethanol from the fermented broth. Okay, recovery of ethanol from the fermented broth is generally done by the process of fractional distillation. Okay, so yesterday we have discussed that by the process of fractional distillation we get two fractions, number one rectified spirit and number two fusel oil. So fusel oil is the byproduct of ethanol production process. Okay, ethyl alcohol production process, right? So fusel oil actually contains what? Diamyl alcohol, isoamyl alcohol, some higher alcohols and all, right? So we get some byproducts also and we get ethanol also. So we generally, whatever fraction we receive after recovery is rectified spirit, that is 95.6% ethyl alcohol and 4.4% water. Right. So by forming an azeotropic mixture of the fermented broth, that is wort, with benzene and water, and by subjecting it to fractional distillation we can recover the ethanol. Now let us discuss the next step, that is biochemistry of ethanol production. Okay, so we are going to discuss the biochemistry of ethanol fermentation. The fermentation of ethanol is an anaerobic process, that is microorganisms, okay, anaerobically ethanol is produced, right? The microorganism, especially the yeast, utilize the carbohydrate that is present in the raw material and obtain their energy for growth and metabolism, right? So the carbohydrates present, the sugars present in the raw materials are utilized by the yeast to generate their energy for growth metabolism. This leads to the formation of alcohol. The monosaccharide sugars, if they are present in your raw material, they are directly utilized or they are directly fermented. But if disaccharides or polysaccharides are present in the raw materials, they are first hydrolyzed into monosaccharide sugars, especially hexoses, and then they are metabolized by the microorganisms to yield ethanol and carbon dioxide and some byproducts. Okay, so what are the main important products? Ethanol and CO2. When yeast utilizes the carbohydrates or sugars present in the raw material, ethanol and carbon dioxide are generated along with some byproducts. The alcoholic fermentation, production of alcohol, okay, proceeds via Embeden-Meyerhof-Parnas pathway, that is glycolysis. Okay, so EMP pathway is followed by microorganism for ethanol production, right? So let us see. So first, microorganisms are cultivated, that is yeast is cultivated on molasses. right? If it contains polysaccharide or disaccharide, it is hydrolyzed into monosaccharide sugars, especially hexose sugars. The hexose sugars via EMP pathway are converted into pyruvic acid, right? The enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase, right? First, molasses are convert hexose sugars. If it contains monosaccharides, no problem, organism will directly utilize the monosaccharides. Via EMP pathway, the monosaccharide sugars, the hexoses, are converted into pyruvic acid. Okay, pyruvic acid by the action of enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase, which requires thymine pyrophosphate. By the action of enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase, pyruvic acid is converted into acetaldehyde. Okay, and there is requirement of NADH here. Acetaldehyde is dehydrogenated, okay, by the enzyme ADH. Alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme converts acetaldehyde into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. So this is the biochemical pathway that is taking place. Molasses, which contains sugars, especially hexose sugar, is converted into pyruvic acid via EMP pathway, which is then converted into acetaldehyde by the action of enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase, which is then converted into ethyl alcohol and CO2 by alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. Okay. Now, so the enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase catalyzes decarboxylation of pyruvic acid into acetaldehyde and carbon dioxide. The enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase catalyzes reduction of ethanol and reduction of acetaldehyde into ethanol, and it requires NADH plus H+. Now, what are the uses of ethanol? Ethanol is a very good solvent that is used in laboratories, okay, common research laboratories or even common laboratories, as well as in industries. So, it is a very good solvent commonly used in laboratories and in industries. It is used in the manufacture of ether, acetaldehyde, acetic acid, butanol, etc. So other organic solvents or other organic compounds can also be produced by using ethanol, right? It is used as a base for the preparation of various distilled liquors, okay? For the preparation of various beverages, that is distilled liquors like rum, gin or whiskey, ethanol is the base compound. During ethanol production, yeast cells that are harvested can be used as a source of food and feed yeast, food and fodder yeast. Carbon dioxide gas, which is released during fermentation, can be used for carbonation of soft drinks. The CO2 gas can also be used in the form of dry ice. Okay. So, even the byproducts that are generated during ethanol production are useful. Okay, so the yeast is used as food or fodder yeast. The CO2 gas released can be used for carbonation of soft drinks. It can be stored, or for beer and all. CO2 can also be stored as dry ice. The byproducts of ethyl alcohol fermentation, that is isoamyl alcohol, butyl alcohol, higher alcohols like glycerol, okay, all called as fusel oil, is used in small quantities after refining in the manufacture of potable liquors or in perfumes. Okay, so they can be added in small amount as in perfumes or in making potable liquors. Okay, a bulk portion of fusel oil is processed to form various acetates by esterification. Okay, so small amount may be used in potable liquors or in perfumes, and a large amount of fusel oil is actually subjected to esterification and converted into acetates. Okay, among these are the N-propyl acetate, isopropyl acetate, amyl acetate, and it is used mainly in paint and lacquer industries. Okay, so these are the uses of ethanol and the byproducts that are generated during ethanol production. Okay, now let us in brief see the flow chart of ethanol production. So which organism is used? Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Okay, so we have a stock culture, then we go for inoculum buildup. So we transfer the yeast into Erlenmeyer flask, then into a 5-liter glass tank, and then the yeast is added to the yeast vessel. Okay, so we have added it to the yeast vessel, right? The yeast vessel is kept near the main fermentation tank, which is numbered as 6 here. So now we have here a molasses tank. Okay, yeah, we have a molasses tank which contains molasses. There is an overhead tank. There is a diluter. We have to dilute the molasses because it contains too much amount of sugar. So it has to be diluted to the required, till we get a required percentage of sugar. So the molasses, first of all, this is S. cerevisiae stock culture. It is subjected to inoculum buildup, then it is transferred to yeast tank, and then it can be added to the main fermentation vessel. We have a molasses tank which is a raw material. There is an overhead tank. Then we have a diluter. With the help of the diluting liquid, that is water, we can dilute the molasses, and all this is added to the main fermentation vessel. Okay, so we add it to the main fermentation vessel, and then the main fermentation vessel is inoculated with the inoculum, that is yeast. After the fermentation proceeds, right, when the fermentation is over, there's a beer heater, there's a heat exchanger, and then the product is condensed. After it has been passes to heat exchanger and condensation. Then the whole fermented broth goes to the analyzer, followed by rectifier. Okay, so by using analyzer and rectifier, recovery of ethanol is done. So we have an analyzer here. Okay, this is an analyzer, and then the rectifier. The rectifier, okay, separates the two fractions. Okay, what are the two fractions that are separated? The rectified spirit, that is ethanol, and the fusel oil. Okay, so through the rectifier, two fractions can be obtained. There is a fusel oil separator which separates the fusel oil, and after cooling or after condensation, ethanol can be generated. So by the process of using analyzer and rectifier, or we can say by fractional distillation process, ethanol and fusel oil fractions are separated, right? So that is all about ethanol production.